Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my first monthly review, and I am so excited to share this, but also a bit nervous because it's like a form of accountability and I haven't done a monthly review for ages. So this is a really good sign that slowly but surely I'm getting right back into my finances since having my daughter. So firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to catch up with tracking my spending, because for the last few days I've slacked a little when it comes to tracking my spending. So I'm just going to play a little bit of catch up. But there has been a couple of periods in the month where I've not tracked my spending, and what I find is it gets a bit messy when I'm trying to recall last week's tracking, and it just gets messy. So I've got a rule now where if it's like the last couple of days, I'll track it. If it's anything older than that, then forget it. So do take all these numbers with a pinch of salt. Next month I'm planning to track every single day, and also planning to really get a clear understanding of my finances. But sometimes there's not a perfect time to start, and you just have to start now and get the ball rolling. So next, let's go on to the overview. So this is just a checklist where I just check, have I paid all my bills, did my credit score improve, and it acts like a little bit of a reminder to ensure that yep, all the bills were paid and there's nothing I need to sort. Double check that I've checked my credit score, and check my pay slip to make sure that my pension's been paid. Acts like a reminder. Please tell me if you feel the same way as well. But when it comes to my finances, it's very much, oh, you've made a mistake, or you've done this wrong, you need to improve on. And it can be quite negative. If it doesn't go to plan, it can be so easy to criticize yourself. I like to incorporate a moment where I actually recognize some improvements or something good that happened. That's why I list 3 things that went well last month, because it gives me the chance to review my finances in a positive way and also acknowledge any improvements or any progress made. But then in addition, also taking into account any improvements that I would like to make, so some goals that I'd like to work towards next month. So for example, I want to ensure that, so I've noticed over the last few months I'm always over budget with my petrol. So either I can ignore that or I can adjust my budget to ensure that there's more money for petrol, and then I have more chance of sticking to budget. The reason why I really want to work on that as well is because it messes my savings up. As you'll see later on in this video, I've noticed that I've not saved that much this month, and it's been quite a poor month for saving. Actually, I think it's been my worst month this year, but that's fine, we can learn from it. Once again, I'm over budget on my groceries, and I realised when it comes to my savings that actually I may need to set myself a new savings challenge, as the one that I've currently been doing since January is no longer motivating me, and that's okay. But what it means is I now need to find a different way to stay motivated. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to list all my numbers on this page. This monthly review page is literally a breakdown of all my spending, all my savings and my debt as well. So these are the actual numbers, and it'll help me really understand if my budget works and if I'm reaching my goals. So straight away we're going to start with the debt, because that's just so nice and easy. There was one debt that I needed to sort out, and thankfully I was able to do that, so everything is sorted there. In regards to my savings, that was a pretty poor month. I did save my initial monthly amounts, but I didn't contribute anything extra during the month. So I'm going to actually come back to this later. I just need to check my bank balance because I can't remember the exact amounts. And then with my spending, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just check my latest balance on my spending trackers, and then I'm going to fill this out. So this is where you're going to see me just look at the latest transaction from each category, and then I'm going to fill the review in. Just notice as well that there's a couple of things that I forgot to track. Like I was mentioning earlier, there was a couple of days I didn't track. I've noticed that tends to be on a weekend because I don't have like my morning routine. So I've just added the school gifts in for my son's school, and now I'm filling the totals in. So I was way over budget with my groceries, and I don't really know why. And all the other ones I wasn't too bad, it was just £1 or it was £10 here and there, but it does explain why I'm struggling to add those extra tenors in on my monthly savings challenge, because I'm actually spending the money. So I've just highlighted where I'm still within budget and where I'm actually over budget. So I'm £60 over budget with my spending, which does explain why my savings is so low, because usually I would save roughly around £150, but I've only saved about £80 this month. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open my annual calendar, and this is a little step out from a typical monthly check, I guess, but I find it so useful because what I'm doing here is I'm actually filling my annual calendar. So instead of dedicating a special time for it, which will never happen, I'm just looking at my spending and seeing if there was any events that I needed to spend money on this month, which there was, and then I'm going to add it to my calendar for next year, so I remember next year to make sure that there's money in the budget for it. Thankfully I saved already for my partner's birthday, but also I needed to get a gift for the teachers. And then I also changed phone providers, so I'll have to make sure that I'm searching for a better deal in advance of the new contract for the SIM only deal. I'm also going to just check in on my emergency fund budget as well and make sure that I note down any savings that I made towards my emergency fund budget. This acts as a great reminder to ensure that I'm always working towards my budget. It doesn't matter how small the amount is, I just want to see the number go up. Then next I'm going to look at a breakdown of my savings. This is really useful because I want to see what my actual goal is, and this is really useful because I can see the goal, each savings goal, and then how much I saved towards it that particular month, and then I'll be able to see a cumulative total as well. Then next I'm going to look at the breakdown of my annual spending overview, and this is really useful once again because it allows me to see how much I'm spending on each item. So my groceries, my petrol, my treats, how much I'm spending every single month, and also on an annual basis on those particular items. For example, clothing. Before I started my debt-free journey, I would spend roughly around £100 a month on clothes, and it was only when I started looking at this from an annual perspective I realised, wow, I'm spending over £1,000 on clothes and I have no emergency fund. That doesn't sit right with me. Something needs to change. This is really useful because I can start to see if there's a trend over time. So if I'm noticing that actually my groceries is gradually getting higher, or I can just check and see if I'm happy with the amount that I've spent. Then I'm going to look at my spending even further, and I'm going to look at the impulse spending and the unexpected spending. Every time I make a transaction, I question if it was an impulse buy. Was it emotional? Was it a spend based on emotion where it was fear of missing out, or maybe I was feeling sad? And if so, then I total this up. Realistically, I tend to try and keep this under £40. I don't know why, but it always tends to be around the £40 mark. If it's anything more, then it's a really bad month. Then I also look at my unexpected spending as well, and then I see if there's anything that I could maybe save for in the future. So maybe like school photos, maybe I've forgotten to save for those and I need to make sure that I have a pot for that in the future. And then also it's great to help me realise if I was over budget, then actually sometimes it's unexpected and that can't be helped. We've recently had a family emergency and it's meant that I had to spend a bit more on petrol, but it was fine that I went over budget on my petrol for that reason, because it was an emergency, and it really helps remind myself that I can try so much. Sometimes some spending is sort of out of my control, and that's okay. But anyway, this is my first monthly review. Do you do a monthly review? And if so, what's the one key thing you check each month? But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
I got you, and you got